All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Unleashed and Uncensored, the Inline Canine Podcast. I'm here today with my friend and guest, Dr. Chris Edwards. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. I'm not even going to attempt to give away everything that you do. So I would love if you would kind of give us a surface level run through about what you're working on and your background right now.
Well, first, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to see you. Yeah, where do I start? I'm a researcher and I do a lot of consulting work, advising, and most of my research focuses on sex-specific indicators for health and performance in military and emergency response personnel. Within that, there's not a lot of basic research done on females. So a lot of my recent research has actually been just to bring up the evidence pool that we can pull from on females so that we can actually do sex comparisons.
Like pulling studies type thing or
No, doing them.
Doing them.
Yeah. So everything from how a female interacts with equipment to, and like what muscles they use to do a task, to like what injuries happen, but to understand why injuries are happening and why there might be differences between males and females. We have to understand how they're moving and what they're interacting with. We have a lot of that information for males already.
Yes.
So
yeah, we definitely
it's to be able to understand like why females might be more at risk of having a neck injury, for example. We need to, go back several steps to understand, well, what are the anatomical differences and then what muscles are using.
Caveman days. Let's go look at that.
Basically. So I do a lot of that. And then my consulting work is a lot of, again, the health and performance relationship. And I pretty much work with only military and like defense organizations and policing. I've done a little bit with healthcare providers and like emergency response teams, but
went from the police side, but you typically go to the military.
Mostly military.
Side,
more recently has been police. I'm working now on the longitudinal project for the RCMP, which is an incredible project. If you haven't checked it out, do. It starts on day 0 of depot. And they collect everything from basic psychological screens to physiological measures. They're tracking heart rate changes and fitness levels, obviously, through depot and injury trends. And then at the end of depot and then day 1 of the road, they do a reassessment. And then every year subsequent, they collect all of this information.
Same people, like the
same group.
Studies?
So that's out of the University of Regina and fully funded by the RCMP.
Yeah.
And
course.
Yeah, yes, it's phenomenal, but awesome. It's been really cool being a part of that as well.
Yeah. So quite a vast array of different things. So a couple, paths I want to dive into on that is, when you talked about your background specific, like what's your education like and where'd you kind of get that and what brought you to where you are now?
Yeah. Well, I have a undergrad from UBC in clinical exercise physiology. And then my master's was from a university in Chicago, and it's on human movement systems. Okay. And my doctorate is from the University of Ottawa, physiology and biomechanics there. And then my postdoctoral fellowship is University of Sherbrooke. And I also have
all over.
I also have a postgraduate diploma in now
you're just showing off.
I've done like some other stuff too, so I've got a couple of degrees.
30 years of school, right?
Basically, I feel like I've been in school my whole life. So
the undergrad, but then the doctorate itself was in
physiology and biomechanics.
Perfect. So that gets us into the kind of musculoskeletal,
MSKI. There you go.
Yeah, MSKI. That one. Okay.
That's easy.
So that's what I kind of knew about you when I first met you. Let's quickly talk about how we first met and how we became interacting and stuff. And now it's funny how our worlds collide a bit too. It's a really small world, but I think when you're with the people in our world and similar people, we all tend to find each other too. So it's kind of funny. But I think I first met you, I guess you phoned me, I don't know, 2023 or 2020. I was just releasing from the forces, I think. And you seem to remember more of that than I do. But.
Well, I remember it because it was, I actually remember it because of the accidental text after
Yeah.
of like, yeah, come over, like we'll do a bonfire with everybody, and then you're like, shit, sorry, wrong person. And I was like, yeah, I don't know your family, so that would be probably not today.
Yeah.
But you were out with your dogs too. You're out walking your
Yes.
dogs, and we were talking about it.
I remember that.
At the time, I had two. I had Sitka, who was my first one, and I had just got Storm, I think.
And Sitka was
She was a Dutch Shepherd. I trained her to the JIBC patrol dog standard, and worked her for that. She was my first everything.
So that's the JIBC is the Justice Institute of BC. It's kind of where a lot of a majority of the police in the Western provinces, definitely BC, go minus RCMP, go to complete their kind of policing 101, right? Their depot, if you will, like our OPC out here, basically. And they do run specific dog courses out of there too.
Yeah, so BC's a little different. Canines aren't regulated federally, right? They're every province has their own rules, and that's also with service dogs. And so the JIBC, not only do they have canine validation tests that you have to go through, they also have a assistant dog program, and so they handle both of them, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
Having a standard for protecting the dogs.
Yep.
Is like the main thing, I think. But
nice. So how old was Sitka?
At the time, she was 18 months when I started training her specifically for that.
Yeah.
She died 2 years ago, and she was only 7.
Yeah. What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
We don't really know. The vet thinks that she was having seizures because she would be like asleep and she'd wake up and she would just snap and like go after like inanimate objects and everything. It was really odd. And with her training, and Sitka was one of those dogs where like she would like bite first and not even ask a question later.
Yeah.
So I loved her. She was awesome to work with, but in that situation, like I started to not really know what she was going to do, and then she was fine. So it would last like up to maybe like 3 minutes. But within a 24-hour period, she kind of spiraled really quickly. She like ripped apart a door, went through a wall, tried to attack my like spin bike, which is like steel.
Wow.
And then she went at Storm, and Storm, it was like unprovoked. They were both just sleeping. She would have been just over maybe a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Storm's a big dog too.
She's a tank.
Like she is a tank of a female.
Yeah.
Man. Like absolutely.
She's 94 pounds.
Yeah.
Comparatively, Sitka was 55, soaking wet. Like after she ate. Yeah. She was like a little briefcase.
Yeah.
So she was good.
Battles, eh?
Oh yeah. Well, like, but savage dog. Like, she went. Yeah. She's hilarious. She went through the bottom of a car. We were doing like detection training.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go through the bottom."
Get to
like,
source.
and it was like an old car, right? So it was like wasn't intact. But yeah, she was just like, and everyone's like, "The fuck?" I'm like, I don't know, man.
So where'd you start with training as it relates to Storm?
Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with Storm actually when I first got her. I was really dependent on
I remember this.
What she needed and what I was able to provide her. And Storm is one of those dogs that I'm pretty sure she's here to just make people laugh.
Yeah. She's got personality, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's an understatement, I think. But if someone laughs at something that she does, every time she meets that person, she will do that same thing again to try and get them to laugh, which obviously becomes hilarious because she's just repeatedly trying to get that attention.
But which speaks to dogs understanding their environment and who is in it in order to get rewards, right?
Yeah.
It's they're creatures of habit, and they're selfish. They're in it for themselves, right? So people need to understand that. Like if they get, with your grandparents, they get certain way, they get anyways, they're smart. They're manipulative.
100%.
Absolutely are.
And it's funny explaining that to people. Yeah. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, she got exactly what she wanted every time. Every time. So, but she was also, the bite was her favorite thing immediately. And so from day one, I realized that if I didn't hone that in a little bit, we would have a lot of people with a lot of little chompers. And so not fighting her on that, but just controlling it. And so
channeling it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we do a lot of bite work. I was an idiot the other day. I was doing some, and I was wearing shorts. I like clipped her nails. I'm like, oh, good girl, Storm.
Did she rap or? Yeah.
And I'm like really working on getting her to just stay holding on as I like lift her. So I'm like lifting her up, 95 pounds.
That's a big dog. Yeah.
And her legs are going straight out, and I didn't think anything of it, went to go for a run, and I had blood all down my legs because her claws, and I was like, I'm just an idiot. I get
love,
like
just out of love.
Oh yeah. Well, she didn't mean
no,
to.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, so back to Storm's training. Wasn't sure. She also loves finding things. Like even in her first couple of months, like I would hide something and she'd be out there for like 20 minutes trying to find it, right? And it's
a good hunt drive. Yeah.
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 And very high energy just in general.
Yeah.
So
those breeds typically too. Like I find like a German Shepherd, you know, they can peak towards, I mean, you obviously have all sorts, right? Like the backyard bred to, you know, full breeder. But I find Dutch Shepherds specifically are like, you know, a German Shepherd working line German Shepherd on steroids a little more. They're a little more like, let's fucking go, you know?
Yeah.
Where I find Shepherds might have a little more of a neutral gear where.
Well, I had it, one of the trainers I was working with like years ago when I first got Sitka, they're like, yeah, Dutch Shepherd is kind of like German Shepherd, super loyal. They like work till they die. So you have to like really monitor that yourself. That's like your main job. And then they also have the like psycho aspect of a Mal. And then, so like, you got to just kind of, you know, dance with it and make sure that off switch is trained really good.
Yep.
Otherwise you're pretty much fucked.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I always held on to that because it's so true. Like they're just.
And
like
she's she's a working dog. Like yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I knew that since day one I met her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you reached out, and why did you reach out to me? How did that happen?
I was actually out walking her, and I have some neighbors that have untrained hunting dogs, and they just let them roam, and there's 5 of them, and one of them happens to be a German short-haired pointer. He's like over 100 pounds. He's a big boy.
Oh, goody.
And I saw them running at us, and so I had Storm clipped in, so I unhooked her and just was like free.
Good luck.
She took one look at them and exactly what like she needed to do. She ran. Yeah. But the GSP went straight through me, so I was just standing there. And usually dogs run around you, but apparently not today.
This one went through you.
Yeah, so it went through me. So I was facing one direction on a road. I woke up facing the opposite direction, face down. And I was out cold. And I woke up and Storm's just standing up like next to me like, Mom, what's going on? Wow. So yeah, it was
fucking dog, man.
Not the dog, is it?
Yeah.
It's the human.
Well,
right?
them
like,
too, yeah.
But
don't
the whole
fucking
thing.
run through me either.
Yeah,
like,
that's true too.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyway, that was a thing. So I'm like knocked out, trying to like figure out, am I gonna be able to walk? My leg is like mangled. I've got like blood everywhere. Like, okay, like trying to do a recount. I'm like, did I just die? And
is this heaven?
Yeah.
There's a dog. Could be heaven.
Storm's here. This is great. Where's Sitka? Who had died like a month before.
Oh, okay.
So it was one of the first walks that I did in an area that's Sitka, Storm, and I used to go to. Okay. So that's why I was like super just, yeah. Anyway, fortunately, Storm had a great foos, and so I put her in the heel position, and she walked me back home. And it was like under 2 kilometers, but definitely over 1.
Enough, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a lot longer. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
And I got back, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure my leg's broken, and like, got blood everywhere. And I was like, well, okay, what am I gonna do here? And turns out I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus, fractured my femur, my patella, and my fibula. Like my knee was gone.
I mean, you could have bled out, like technically. Like,
well, I mean, if an artery had been shut, but so that was the other thing. As I was like lying there on the ground, Storm's looking down at me, and I'm like, do I need to call like a fire department?
Yeah.
That would have been a little cherry on top of the story. But anyway, so that happened, and I knew it was a really critical time for Storm's training, right? Because she just turned 1 ish, and that period of like 12 to 18 months is what.
Because I remember meeting you, and your leg was like all like
well, I couldn't do anything, and she's great at just obedience, but I needed to do the change in direction and get those fast paced movements going in, and also like that bite, I need to be able to control it and hone it in motion. And so we connected there. And I think that's the first time we met in person.
Yeah. How did you get my info?
At the Steve, my husband.
Okay, it was. Yeah, okay, it was Steve. Yeah,
that one. And
yeah.
so I don't remember who connected us originally.
Okay.
There was a few people.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there are enough people that.
Yeah. I think it was Steve. You're right. And then, yeah.
I think Brian he was a bioscience officer. You played softball with him, I think.
Okay. That's random. Yeah.
We met through research, right?
Okay.
So and then Pat Cushion.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Pat.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. They definitely, I think they were two people who connected, who were like, you really have to talk to Josh originally. I think that was part of the original phone call.
Get you over for a bonfire.
Yeah. With your family.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't met you yet.
Yeah. It was like, man, this guy's really friendly.
Yeah. Which is fair. I am.
Yeah. That is true.
So you reached out. I don't know how long we waited. It
was pretty quick. You were awesome. Like I felt, I felt so bad because Storm wasn't getting what she needed. Like she's a super high energy jog, and I could move at like maybe a snail's pace after a couple hours of rest.
I remember that, yeah, because I was doing a lot of it to start with, and just stay there, don't move, stand in the shade. Yeah,
I was sitting in my trunk.
Yeah, and she, in fairness to you, she came with a great start state. Like she really did. She the obedience was there. The communication had started. Like the sequence was there. Now it was just kind of putting at her speed and working through it, getting into e-collar conditioning, all that stuff.
I hadn't used e-collar with her yet.
Because you had the dog tray, I think.
No.
Dog tray,
No, I didn't actually train her on a leash until 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Because I've got property.
Yes,
totally different than Sitka, right?
Yeah.
Sitka I had in the city of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Like downtown Vancouver's training environment. That's a totally different experience. But yeah, with Storm, it was all communication and like luring and like building that. And she wants affection so much. So she's so easy to train because like she just wants pets all the time. She's like, I'll do anything you want me to do.
She has that around the back foos. Remember that was like.
Well, I did that with Sitka originally because that was.
I remember we were bugging. About that.
You can chirp me all day, but it worked for what I needed, right?
Hey, the dog moved into it. It doesn't matter how. At the end of the day, so okay, so. Yeah, we started working with Storm. Fantastic dog. Still love her to this day. I boarded her for I think like a week or so before, and man, my wife loved her as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's awesome. Very independent. Loves to do her own thing. Her and Sky got along. She would tell the other dog off every now and again too, like just like, hey, this is my toy or whatever. She was great. Honestly, she was.
Well, you had her
blast.
On her first heat, I think.
I think so. Yeah. And now,
Sorry
and then
about
Chris,
that.
and then Chris had it after. Chris, so,
I felt so bad. I was like, seriously?
Yeah. Which by the time this comes out, just so you know, I'm hiring Chris. So, yeah. So she doesn't know that yet, and she will, and she'll never know because by the time this comes out. But yeah.
I'm so stoked.
She is awesome. I'm super excited to get her into.
She's gonna be so happy.
Oh man, she's gonna be great.
She called me the other day and she's like, I think I got it, but I don't know, and I really want it. And I was like,
I haven't told them yet, but I've started I let them start look over contracts and everything now, just to make sure that's not like a surprise. So here's what's expected, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's like 5 of them I'm gonna hire.
She's so great.
She'll do great. She's super hard worker too. So, but that's funny. I can tell that now, and she doesn't know yet. Okay, so
I'll keep my mouth shut.
No, that's fine. She'll know in a few days. I might tell her tomorrow.
Perfect. She'll call me and be like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Listen to this podcast. Yeah. Okay, so moving on with Storm, into your study side, like because your background, we started even talking about TBI, concussions, and stuff like. Because I remember you had talked to me about your background in MSKI, right? See how I went there, yeah. And then you actually talked to me about the head stuff as well, and that's when I started. I'm like, and I started following you a little more, like on stuff you were releasing and or talking about, and I was curious because this was 2023. I'm just releasing. I'm just starting to fully, never fully, still not. It's just starting to grasp what this even is and how this has affected me moving forward, because how it affected me 5, 6, 7 years ago to where it is now is changed as well.
Are you talking about TBI specifically?
Yeah, it's changed a ton, and just my understanding of it too. versus just blaming it all on, say, mental health. You know what I mean? That seems to be the catch-all, right? Let's toss that, especially on the military side of things. This mental health became such a craze, right? Everything is anxiety and PTSD, everything. Boom, claim it. Good, here's your 30%, go. Okay, I get it, but what about some of the underlying things, right? And when that operator syndrome publication dropped from the US SOCOM, holy fuck, Chris, it changed. I was reading my life. Like I could have picked up that paper, changed the name to Welcome to Josh Rowland's Life, and it was scary. It was kind of scary. I'm not even gonna lie, because I didn't really fully understand it or grasp the what this means moving forward. But that changed everything for me. Do you remember reading that? Obviously.
Yeah.
What was your take on that back then?
Oh, okay. So there's so much that I actually want to pull on here. So one of my favorite things about research is the ability to tell the story of people who feel invisible. And I think a lot of people don't realize their experience. They're not alone. And just because no one's talked to you about it doesn't mean it's not the majority of your circle, right? And the operator syndrome paper, and there'd been a lot of talk about operator syndrome before, but when they published that, I think that you weren't alone in that. It also highlights a difference between the conventional side and the small teams. I'll be honest. Their exposures are more frequent. More severe.
Yes.
And well, I mean, you look at the rates of suicide; it's super high.
And I think we're only getting to see the start of that. That's it's with the end of kind of the Afghan and Iraq era too, plus all that on the training side. Anyways, I think that's going to be a big thing in the next couple of years for sure.
Agreed. Unfortunately.
Sadly, absolutely. So getting ahead of this stuff, as much as we can, I'm all for.
Can I ask about the operator syndrome? Was there anything in there that you read that was surprising? Or I don't know when the last time you read it was.
It's been a while now, but surprising.
We were like, I didn't realize that was a thing that other people had, or
you know what really did it for me is when I started talking to guys that had been around a while, or so I'm in a group chat with a bunch of ex or current serving guys from my former unit, and their symptoms, their day-to-day life, their challenges, I could just replace, and we could replace each other's lives. You know what I mean? And when it started to show that there's actual symptoms to this, like that everyone experiences, at different magnitudes, different levels, just like anything else. But wow, that was eye-opening for sure. Like, holy fuck. So other people are feeling this, and they're feeling this way too, right? Like, because for me, I don't know when it was like 2018, 2017. I noticed like a slurring of words. And it was very faint. The average person who doesn't know me or know me might not even catch it, but how you catch things on your own. So I caught it, along with the ability to recall words during chat, like specific, like descriptionary words, like I'm talking about a story, and then I go to tell a story, it's here, but then when I go to pull it out, right, it's like, well, what kind of boat was it? I don't know. Like, insert adjective here, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I trying to tell the doctor this, when I was like, well, fuck, I just can't describe things anymore. They're looking at me like, okay, like, you want to go take a nap? Like, no, I don't want to fucking take a nap. I want to find out what's going on with my brain, right?
I mean, a nap would probably help. But...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, my wife would agree. But that for me was like the first kind of look into this. That caught me off guard. That was like, okay, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And that started the process of, and I don't know, understanding is not the right word, but catching how I feel about this, and kind
of an acceptance, or like maybe the opportunity to actually look at inside.
I did. I totally, and I talked to my wife about this. Like I'm accepting of this, that, this is something that, to my understanding won't just go away, won't ever go away. But, maybe there's things I can do to help shape that. Maybe there's, whether that be, different, whether that be supplemental, like, technology, or Kim's games, little things to help shape different stuff. And as we progress, and, the Americans always seem to be 4, 5, 6, 10 years ahead of us, on different things. I'm curious to see what kind of comes out of this moving forward, because only now has VAC even basically started allowing you to even claim this as a thing, and they actually made me change my diagnosis in order to get accepted, and thankfully my case manager like recommended this because they weren't even accepting it. So I only recently got post-concussion syndrome accepted.
Really?
Even though like I don't think it's necessarily post-concussion syndrome, and the neuropsych doesn't think so either, right? But it's accepted. But you know, they accepted it and they gave me 5%, and I was like, you motherfuckers, like in my head. And I told my VAC case manager this, and I'm like I'm already like, financially it didn't mean anything because I was already maxed.
Yeah.
But I was like, out of spite, this is causing 99% of my problems, and you just spit on it a bit. And I already know a bunch of other guys are going through this, and I was one of like the first 6 to 8 people in Canada to get this like confirmed. Now we're going to see it start to like spread open, right? Shane Nedowin, another guy who's got out, he lives in Alberta, ex-colleague of mine. I went through not selection, but course with him, SOAC. Fantastic guy. He lives out in Alberta now, and he's talked a lot to kind of the VAC shadow ministers and all that along the other side, because there seems to be only one side who wants to listen. That's another fucking thing. And you know, not just throw money at a problem, but actually address a problem, right? Because anyways, that's a whole other thing. But Shane has kind of championed the way through of getting this seemingly pushed forward, because as soon as names were started flowing from, you know, our group chat to that shadow minister, these things started getting accepted. Go figure. So
if there's anything that I can do to support, like I do a lot of that. And given what you're saying and the timing, I think I might have also been on the same
wavelength. It was kind of all at once, eh? So it's interesting. So from the MTBI side of things, where do you come in on that? How did you get into that side of things?
Okay, so personally, I've had several concussions, I grew up playing sports, right? So sports-related concussion was a huge part of my life. And growing up on the ranch, my first concussion, I ran into a brick wall when I was 2.5. I kind of started off going full send forward and didn't really stop. So I did that and fractured my skull, and had a bunch of other pretty substantial injuries growing up. So I was always interested. And the link between PTSD and TBI related and symptoms also always fascinated me.
Like the overlap?
Because if you read the symptom list, they're quite similar, right? And a lot of the time, you'll get a diagnosis for one, not the other. And
that's exactly what happened. To a lot of people.
And that's, it depends on why you're getting a diagnosis, right? If you're getting a diagnosis to get treatment, we really hope that you're getting the right diagnosis. Absolutely. Right? If you're doing it for claims, it's a different story, right? And again, so intention matters. But for treatment, I was always interested in that because they would present in clinic a certain way, and I was like, man, what is going on here? And that's actually how I ended up going into research as a whole, is the psychological and physiological response to trauma. And that, I think, will always fascinate me and always be the underlying motivation for a lot of my research. But for TBI, and my interest in it is seeing how it affects people long term, right? And it's now considered a chronic condition that needs to be managed. A lot of people will recover fully from a TBI exposure. It's the repetitive nature that happens in with you guys.
What's the name? RCS, like repetitive sub. What are they? I don't know. That was an acronym floating around for a while. Our repetitive subconcussive syndrome or exposure. Something like that.
I don't know.
Which is definitely us.
There's a lot of acronyms around TBI right now.
We used to all joke when we were in those blast sensors. You know, like back before like safety really took a turn towards the uptick. Like I remember being interior wearing these blast sensors, doing like a full a full MRI trial where we got pre-MRIs. I was a part of this in 2015, and we were all like, boom, our blast sensors go red, and we're like, hey, like, meanwhile, I'm fucking gonna be drooling in 10 years, right?
Slurring
like
your words.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's so funny how we joked about that at the time, but yeah, anyways,
I actually don't know where to begin when I start talking about why I'm interested in it. One is a lot of people don't realize or like to forget that there's a human in this uniform, right? And depending on who I'm talking to, I've actually started using the word asset, because if I'm talking to people who deal in money, we need to talk about the dollar value associated with these humans, unfortunately.
It's fucking insane how much money we're worth. Like, honestly.
The millions of dollars that go into training each of you.
Literal millions, absolutely. And I don't think people understand that. From the ammunition to the people who train us, to the venues, to the equipment, it is absolutely fucking insane.
So there's the dollar value, and then there's the experience, and you combine those, you have an asset that is literally irreplaceable. And I think it's really hard for people who are outside making decisions to really remember that or keep that in mind, And so on a financial and taxpayer standpoint, you can look at it that way. These are assets that we need to protect and we need to be doing continual maintenance on. And TBI is a huge problem, and it is a factor that is going to cause one of these assets to become not operational anymore. And so from that standpoint, we really do need to invest into interventions and supporting that and preventing. Exactly. And so like the breaching protocols, for example, that used to be actually like exacerbating TBI exposure. And there's been changes now, and I think that's a very good thing. Again, as an outsider, but
no, it's true. It absolutely has, because I remember, the way we would train interior, especially interior and exterior, to the way we even trained, say, the last number of years I was in the unit. Big difference. Yeah, absolutely. Just in hearing protection alone. I mean, the invention of the fucking Peltors was, goddamn, whoever invented those, like 3M or whoever, like fucking
send them a thank you
like,
card.
Oh man, you're getting flowers. Like that saved so much, like just headaches, ear loss, like hearing loss and stuff too. And tinnitus is still a real thing, but such is life.
So we can talk about some of the symptoms that really impact people who have TBI and MTBI. You've got headaches, you've got dizziness, the tinnitus, the cognitive issues of not being able to really formulate thoughts well. There's the brain fog, nausea, vomiting.
I've seen guys throw up on ranges. And that's pretty bad. Like, that's, if it gets to that, like, that's not good.
And can you say how that's managed?
I mean, it wasn't. It was here, just go drink some water, and then
it must be your electrolytes, right?
It's obviously, and meanwhile, just 10 reds in a row. You know what I mean? Like, and the roof's caving in on us with, like, asbestos and black mold, but that's fine too. That's a whole other issue. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for that claim.
It's interesting, right? Because one of the differences between a sports-related concussion and a blast exposure, TBI, is we see changes in the vasculature, and so the blood vessels. And,
interesting.
Is
that because it's not necessarily like with direct you're hitting a certain area, but with the blast it kind of.
Okay, so I'm not the greatest at physics around a blast, but there are a couple different ways that we experience trauma to the brain, right? There's the contact to the head. That's pretty obvious, and that's really clear, actually. Those ones are pretty easy to say. Yeah, you got hit in the head, you got a brain injury.
Okay.
There's the like whiplash type, so fast changes in motion. There's just a study that came out actually on boat operators. And their G-force is insane, and they're starting to realize that their exposures, just operating the boats, is a
that's
TBI
super
exposure.
Interesting. Yeah, because we already know, like, their neck, their vertebrae, cervical spines are all fucked up anyways, right? So it's just from the bouncing. That's interesting with what's going on in there too, bouncing around.
So it's like mini oscillations, but at high speeds, and
repetitive.
That's exactly what causes this type of injury. So that sheer stress. So there's a number of different ways that the brain can be injured. We'll just wrap that up right there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that you have to be knocked unconscious for it to be
Yeah.
even a mild traumatic brain injury or moderate or severe. Actually, that's only one possible criteria check for it to be categorized as a TBI, right? There was a recent consensus with the American Rehabilitation and Medicine Association. They got together and they did something called a Delphi, where you have experts from different perspectives who weigh in on what are we going to use to build a criteria for diagnosing MTBI and differentiating mild traumatic brain injury, moderate, and severe. Yeah. Right. And you don't have to have lost consciousness. There has to be a event that has biomechanical is supported biomechanically that would cause a brain injury. Yep. And then there's other criteria. I actually just made a post about this if you want to get into it. But
I the one you just posted. Yeah, absolutely. I shared that again. I'll share it again.
Okay, because there's that one, and then there's a follow-up where I actually have the criteria and the link to the criteria.
Did you share that yet?
Oh, it's on on there, but it's just in a black slide deck. Usually I put like theory heavy stuff in a slide deck so people can flip through it instead of me just talking about it. Like, you can read this more than I can. I'm dyslexic, so I'll probably mess up something. So you don't have to lose consciousness. You don't actually have to forget what happened. Okay. So amnesia around the event
doesn't necessarily
mean that you had it or didn't have it. Yep. There's actually some people have amnesia around an event because it was a traumatic experience, and trauma-related amnesia is quite common. Okay. And so we've actually changed some of the questions around the event and to check if someone has this type of amnesia to the events before the event. So we won't actually ask like what happened. It'll be like, oh, what did you have for breakfast? And like, who were you with at the beginning of the game if you were playing a sport, or like, and so then they don't have to think about the actual event itself because it could be not there anymore. Right? And males are more likely to have amnesia related to their TBI than females.
Why is that? Who knows?
It goes back to our conversation at the beginning. We have all of this kind of like...
Men are from Mars, girls are from Venus. Is that the
exactly. We know lots about Mars, but not much else. Yeah. And so
don't worry, no one's going to be able to answer that. Who knows the most about women?
Oh, man. Yeah,
the mystery continues. Yeah.
Yes. So hopefully we can figure that out, because that would be really helpful in the long term.
Absolutely.
And the outcomes for females is actually a lot more severe than males for TBI. And
from a healing standpoint, or just from a symptomatic?
Symptoms and time. And if we look at sport, because I rely a lot on the research on TBIs from sport, because they've been able to do some really high quality studies. And it's mainstream,
right? Like, you know what I mean? It's out there. Like, so
they're allowed to publish. And they're allowed to, there's not like the OPSEC reason that we get from some institutions, and which is totally reasonable. Sure. Like, I think that's it's important, but so we can pull a lot from sport and apply it and see where the overlaps are for military context and for policing. What was I talking about?
Okay. So the difference is men and women. The difference is
females.
And we talked about. So I want to actually pick your brain on some of the things people can do to, like, what's out there in terms of studies and research in terms of what actually helps with this. Like, what's besides time?
Most people don't want to hear this, but the single best thing that you can do is aerobic exercise. And immediately after, we used to believe cocooning after a traumatic brain injury or a traumatic exposure for the brain was the way that we do it. We'd be like, no, rest, recover, like, don't talk to anyone, lock yourself in a quiet room. That's actually harmful.
Interesting.
So, the British Journal of Sports Medicine has come out with a couple of years ago.
We're going to cut that piece. That's a good piece to cut. That's important.
It's the cocooning is harmful. Okay. The sooner that you can get into doing light to moderate physical activity, the better. And
is that just blood flow, or is that all that? Like...
So I think so. And I could go off on this. So just be careful. And if I need to just rein me in if I need to.
No, you're good.
But so within the first 2 days, like, if someone is still throwing up, well, that's obviously we're not going to like make them go for, you need to go do some stairs. Not the way to do it. But as soon as they're able to go out for a light walk, and it doesn't need to be an hour, it can be like 10 minutes. And again, not breaking any records here, just get moving. And doing that versus stretching is better. Like stretching is, if that's all you can do, fine, but you want to get moving as quickly as possible. And then that improves sleep disturbances, that improves return to play. So people who are, as soon as like you can get them being physically active, if they're physically active within the first 48 hours, their return to play is better by 4 to 5 days, which it's not nothing, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so in a sport context, this is a really important piece. And it's not, you're not going out to do CrossFit. Like you probably can't, I can't say CrossFit because it's, so you can't go out to do like
cross training,
one of those super big strength and conditioning high intensity workouts. There we go. But gradual increase in aerobic activity, and you can do other types of physical activity so long as it stays within a 2-point scale. So if on a scale of 1 to 10, this is how you feel. So you're like, yeah, I'm feeling a 4 today. It's just like if you've just had a trauma to your brain, that's pretty good. So I'm feeling about a 4. If you can do an activity up to a 6, you're good. If you beat that 6, so if you're at like a 7, that's a stop, reassess. And if you re-engage with that activity again and you're still at a 7, that's a take a break and step back. And like full stop that activity. But if you're able to like stay within that 2-point threshold,
almost push it, but hold like at that threshold.
And again, my experience working with people like you is you're more holding them back, right? Like it's always that dog that's going, right? And so very much like Storm, you got
done with the dogs.
Gotcha. So just reining them in and directing it. And I find that educating is a huge part of that. Is like, this is what we need to do, and this is why. I know that you want to maybe go and like do more because more is better. More is not better. More is just more. And
welcome to our lives.
Exactly. But it's understanding that if you're going to go for a walk for 10 minutes and you feel good and you want to go for 15, you can. And if 15 you're still feeling good, you can go a little longer. But it is that progressive push on that exercise prescription is like a key. And the sooner that we get increased intensity, again, within that 2-point increase, the better the prognosis is going to be. And it's not just return to play or return to life faster. It's your symptoms are going to be less severe long term, not just like in the moment. Right? So the long-term effects are considerable as well. And so that's the physical side. And then there's the mental exposure and like going back into like cognitive tasks. A lot of the sport research is done on collegiate athletes and professional athletes, right? And so we talk about going back to school, but you can relate that back to work. You want to cut out screen time within the first 48 hours. There's evidence to support that now. So I want you to be active, but I don't want you on your phone.
That's a problem.
And just for 2 days. Like, I know you want to post, but don't. You can do this. Write in your journal. So staying off the screen for 2 days, but then as soon as, again, that 2-point scale applies to the mental load as well.
As soon as you're feeling.
So if you can do 2 hours of work or at school, then go to 2 hours and keep it at 2 hours. And then gradually we can increase that. And if you've got a symptom scale going again above that 2 points, then that's a full stop and we go back a little bit. But the sooner that we get back and we kind of push it, the better the outcomes are, and the sooner that people are going to be able to be back to normal day to day.
So one of the things I've always heard, and correct it if I'm wrong, and just the aerobic side of like zone, when you know how they use zones for heart rate, zone 2 kind of activity in order to.
Do you know what zone means?
Like within your heart rate, you mean? So like certain heart rates depending on.
So it's based off of your maximum heart rate.
So most people wouldn't have that, right? Like, but you can kind of do like a guesstimation or like a.
So there's different ways that you can calculate maximum heart rate. An age estimated maximum heart rate is totally fine. It's 220 minus your age.
BMR or whatever.
You shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. All right.
I'm like, I have so many things to say about that.
Yeah.
So it's 220 minus your age, and that's
Okay.
usually
That's right. I've heard that.
ish.
Okay. Yeah.
That's your top maximum heart rate.
Okay.
And athletes and very trained individuals, it's a little bit different. We use a different calculation, but
Okay.
you're going to get a benchmark, and that's fine.
Sure.
And then you base the scale off of that. So if your maximum heart rate is, let's say, 200, everything after that, 80%. What's 80% of 200? I don't know. Whatever. So you go 50%.
160.
So nice.
Yep.
I was like, I'm just going to keep talking. So maximum heart rate's 200. If we say we want you working at a 50% of your maximum heart rate, so we want you working around 100 beats per minute. And these walks after like your exposure, 50% is good, right? 50 to 60%. That's what we're aiming for. Like nothing over that.
Is there a time associated with that? Like or is it always come back to the kind of the 2-point system?
2-point system is the best.
So like if I do it for 10 minutes, let's just say I'm not bothered by the 2-point in terms of I'm out for a walk, 30 minutes in, I'm fine. I've always heard, and again, this, I'm not talking to an event that just happened. I'm speaking more to like symptomatic and brain fog and stuff like that. I've always heard that, adding in aerobic activity up, in that kind of, half 50%, 50 to 60% really flushes out your brain. Is there any truth to that? Like in terms of like,
flushing out. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
But it's good for it.
Yeah.
And in that, we'd want to be zone 2. So depending on what scale you're using, 60 to 70% ish.
Yep.
And depending on the group that I'm working with, I'll sometimes expand that to 75%. But for the context of this, we'll say 60 to 70% of your heart rate max. Yes, you should be absolutely engaging in that, not just for TBI individuals. There are countless benefits for this. It's also one of the most efficient ways of building your aerobic capacity as a whole.
Cardiac health, I imagine.
And and for performance. So you're building mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cell. Right? You learned that from grade 11 biology. There you go. Well, we can touch on creatine in a minute, and we'll come back to
absolutely.
to mitochondria. But aerobic activity builds mitochondria faster than anaerobic or like strength training. You still build mitochondria, you still gain mitochondria from strength training, and it takes a different pathway. But again, it's more efficient to do aerobic training.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
cardio, everyone's favorite.
I know, and that's why I said you're not going to like my answer, but this is actually
Yeah.
the most effective way of protecting your brain and alleviating symptoms, and then getting back faster. So I hate to break it to you,
My
but
occupational therapist is on me all the time. Did you do your? I'm like.
It's unfortunately it's true.
Yeah.
And I think if we're talking about running, a lot of people from your community think of running as like full send all the time, red line.
No,
and
I
then,
don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I can't, no, that's not what I'm talking about. You can call a friend and go for a run. Yeah. And that's the speed that I want you at.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but I'm going so slow. It's like, yes.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
That is exactly what we want. The strain on your joints is going to be less. We're, again, building those mitochondria that we really need for your strength training, for your strength gains. You need to have mitochondria in your muscles.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Right? So it all plays in. Okay. And it also protects the brain.
So that's one of the best things we can be doing then. Like,
literally for everything in health, not just TBI.
But, stupid cardio.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
yeah. Wow, you just broke everyone's heart on here. Yeah. Do more
Happy to
cardio.
do
more
again.
cardio. God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Find something that you like. I don't know. Go paddleboarding.
I know. I don't like that. Fuck. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's it is. I've always heard that too, and not really understanding the full medical benefits of it, but just being told, do this because, on a surface level, but you broke it down a little more, which is very interesting.
What happens there is also we need to talk about angiogenesis. So the reason why this is angiogenesis
my favorite topic.
Every Tuesday for favorite thing. Angiogenesis is the growth of blood vessels. And so what I talked about earlier about breachers and the blast exposures causing the changes in the vascularization in the brain. Okay. Angiogenesis is what builds blood vessels. We really, really need to do aerobic activity, especially if we're talking about blast exposure. Okay. Because that's the way that you're going to build back the blood vessels and get the circulation back on. Okay. Yeah. So it's very important. Very, very important.
Okay. Okay. So you about that process.
Yeah.
So that that's how you rebuild it then? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
And doesn't have to be running.
Yeah.
You can go walk your dog, right?
Yeah.
Walk your dog, put a weight vest on. Like if
Yeah.
you're not getting into a high enough zone, or put a backpack on for your dog treats.
Yeah.
Carry 10,
Yeah.
carry 10 pounds of dog treats.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That's fair.
Because then you can go slower. And if you can't run because you've got like osteoarthritis in your knees, or you've got ankle issues, because if you're in combat arms, the likelihood is you do, right? Or lower back issues, and running doesn't feel good. That's totally fine. There's lots of other activities.
Yep.
And if you are walking your dog, you can, again, put a weight vest on, because that's going to increase your effort, which will put you into zone 2 without putting additional.
Keep the stress off you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, engage your core and use your glutes.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Keep neck back, shoulders back. Yeah. Yeah. So I got out of the vest, and now you're going to put me back in one. Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad.
No, you're
it's
right.
better
It's
than a
not.
ruck, because at least the weight is distributed
Everything
evenly.
is better than a ruck. Yeah.
It is, though. In if the ruck fits you, like, it's not so bad, but like the likelihood of you having one that fits is pretty low.
Yeah.
So yes, aerobic activity is one of the best things you can do. Sleep.
Yep.
Sleep disturbances are quite common in TBI and in MTBI, and we're talking about supplements. Melatonin helps.
Yeah. Is that something you want to like? Is that spot, or like is that something you want to stay on? Like, or can you does your body become dependent on that, or what's?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Most of the studies look at a short period of time, so that would be my recommendation is to stay within that.
So like during an event type thing, or
or during the healing period.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So while you still have sleep disruption, using the melatonin, if that's 3 to 6 weeks, then great.
I'm still post event and still just still have sleep disturbances.
Yeah, and I should also emphasize that if you are navigating this, you should also be working with medical professionals that are trained and specialized in this.
Yeah.
And we're actually really lucky in Ottawa that we have a full TBI clinic here, and they do exceptional work, and they do have experience with military members. And so if you are navigating this and you can get referred into them.
Do you think in the 3 years that I've been maybe 4 or 5 years I've been dealing with this, that I've been sent to them once? You think I've even been told about them once? Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a really great facility.
I can go in my group chat and probably ask them. People's like, "What's that?"
Yeah, they're amazing. So it's a collaborative clinic. They're multidisciplinary. They have physiotherapists. So physiotherapy is really helpful in TBI. It helps with a lot of the vestibular stuff. So a lot of the balance issues.
I did quite a bit of that, actually.
Eye training as well. Like it helps with the headaches. All of these things will also help with the sleep long term. And any of the motor issues that you have, like if people have shakes and stuff, like sometimes we can alleviate some of that. It might not go away completely, but physiotherapy, especially a physiotherapist that has specific training in concussion and TBI. And,
memory,
TBI.
vestibular, and kind of balance was what I remember working.
Yeah, and so if you get in with a good clinician, like they can really make a huge difference. And one thing I will say is just because the clinician that you're with isn't maybe the right fit doesn't mean that there isn't one that will be. And so taking the time to say, like, thank you, I'm going to move on. Or I'd really like a referral to the TBI clinic.
So you can ask your basic family physician for that?
Yeah, you can. And one of the other things I will say is that most university hospitals have ongoing research projects on TBI. And so get in them. If you're interested in any of the up and coming interventions and treatments for TBI, you can probably get on a study. Recruiting is hard. So
I believe that.
And a lot of the...
Well, keep me in mind for that. Like,
I will for sure. And I can definitly post some stuff on the ongoing research trials in Canada anyway. So talk about aerobic exercise, talked about multidisciplinary support. Definitely because of the overlap with PTSD and TBI, and then the likelihood of depression and anxiety as well with TBI. It's way more common in service members who've had TBI. A psychologist should also be part of the care team.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
And every one of my guys, same thing.
It's huge.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, having that that support is
it's massive. I'm so thankful for that aspect of it, because for the last like fucking 5 years of my life, like I'm along with my colleagues are burnt out from rehab. Like I'm fucking burned out. Like I went to physio twice a week for a number of years, chiro, massage, and not like, ooh, sweetest massage, you're having fun, like destroy my body so it can continue on.
There's a lot of research around registered massage therapy or registered massage therapist specific. Like there's therapeutic massage and then there's like masseuses. Masseuses are very different.
Yeah. It has kept my body together.
Yeah.
Like it is, I can't for the life of me figure out why it's not provided by to military care. Like I
That's a spicy topic.
Yeah, and I'll fucking attack it, because the thing that kills me is like we will deal with the aftermath, but we could probably save more money by handing massages out to those who need it or who would benefit from it, versus then dealing with the aspect of what happens after, in terms of, potential low back, cervical spine, everything.
There's a lot of research around, again, it's there's a difference between a masseuse and a registered massage therapist, but using the evidence-based approaches of massage therapy does help with chronic pain. It can help with psychological. There's a lot of psychological outcomes that are improved, and range of motion, muscle activation. Others, I could go on for a long time.
Yeah. It's been amazing. Honestly, it's kept me going. Like I joke, but like once, like if I go a week or two without one, like my chronic pain kicks back in. My chronic pain kicks back in. My mental health plummets. My mental health plummets. I fucking might pick up more substance than I want to, right? Like it's all tied, and I'm so thankful for the support team and everything, because like the psychologists, the occupational therapists, the psychiatrists, dependent on times, RMT, chiro, massage, physio. It's like, fuck my life. Like it becomes a full-time job trying to keep your body put together, and like thankfully we have the ability to do so this is not me bitching at all. It's amazing, and it's fucking incredible, and I wish more first responders took advantage of this, and they could prolong their careers, which that A or B benefit or not, if you want to, right? But their personal lives would improve, and that's the big part. And I will, kind of scream that till I'm blue in the face, is like, I'm on my wife too. I'm like, why are you not, she's an Ottawa police officer. Why do you not get massages as often as your, insurance allows you, or more often, right? Like this, like constant sitting, nagging, like the vests, like fucking just destroys everything. Like just get help, it's there, look for it and seek it. And I'm burnt out because of it, I'll be honest with you, but I try to keep going anyways.
Well, we're so reactive. Right. And
the military specifically is, well, our whole medical system.
The
really,
institutions are. And then also I'm actually going to say the individuals, like we ignore it until we can't. And whispers become screams if you don't listen. Right. And so I will recommend to everyone that, get ahead of it. And there's a lot you can do, like preventatively, that will maybe not stop an injury from happening. An acute injury that happens, like if you fall in a hole, right? But if you have a stronger base to build from, your return is going to be way easier in every way.
And we're all guilty of it. You know what I mean? Like especially like guys in the unit, like how much stretching do we do? How much yoga do we do? Any of that? It was like,
I mean, if I coach you, you do a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I was before your time though. So, but it's so true, right? Like we're all guilty of it, because the whispers become screams, and I love that. And that's a great statement. So I want to move forward to supplements. Let's talk quickly about supplements. Creatine, one of the most fucking studied drugs on the planet, besides like nicotine and tobacco. Like what's your, you kind of gave me the look with the creatine. What does that speak to? You said mitochondria as well with that, or what?
So creatine is it's the most researched supplement around.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's several benefits from it, right? In sports performance, we see it helping with muscle development and muscle recovery. On the brain side, we see it improve cognition. It helps with TBI symptoms. It can help with sleep. And yes, so I would recommend, if I was going to recommend, because I'm not a clinician, so I can only say what the evidence supports, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
creatine is one of the things that if you're not on it, the evidence supports you be on it.
And that's like a standard creatine monohydrate, like
creatine monohydrate,
like
nothing else.
5 milligrams.
Don't take this
5,
stuff that has in 12 ingredients.
Yeah.
You just creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
Creatine monohydrate, and also make sure that you're getting one that has been tested for additional
like purity, like
you make sure that it's pure. There's I would make sure that you're getting one that has a third party testing.
So I'm going to plug a local company here. There's a company called Straterra that I kind of came across out of work looking to create a canine supplement powder.
I do remember this actually.
Yeah. So they do a ton of work with physicians and create these local source, properly sourced stuff that they can push out into volume, right? To creating for these different companies, and it's all like proteins, creatines, like different things. And I actually just saw her the other day. We were chatting, and I'm ordering some protein from them, and creatine. She said one of the biggest things is ours is tested at X percentage of for purity and stuff. So I can I'll get Josh to put that in the show notes and stuff too, because they're great. They're fucking fantastic, and they have done a lot of research. They did Mind Game. Remember I think that Mind Game, that stuff, that the drink, the supplement powder. They were working with. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
It's anyways.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I know. I don't know enough about it, and I'll just butcher it. So, but anyways, that's something else. I'll create I'll start a chat with them. And
that'd be great. Because what's one of the biggest issues with supplements as a whole is actually knowing what you're actually taking. Yeah. And it's not really regulated well.
No.
And it can be scary, especially if you're in sport and you're getting drug tested, making sure that you're getting one of the ones that has been checked by that third party to get approved. But
before you get kicked out for half the season.
And a lot of the time it's unintentional. In other cases it is intentional, and I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. It's if you don't want to fall into that, then definitely making sure that you're getting a third party
I have
testing.
no one watching I'm good.
Well, there's a triathlon organization that's now even testing their amateur athletes and their age group athletes for doping, because doping's a huge issue. And I was so stoked. I was like, this is great, we should be doing this more. Because a lot of people don't realize the harmful effects of some of those ergogenic aids.
Well,
and
not only that,
substances.
think about if you're not testing those scholarships, those other things are going to somebody that maybe somebody it should be going the right spots too, right? Which changes lives, changes it has different effects too, right? So because eventually you might not be able to use that anymore or get caught or all these things too. So talk about that for a while as well.
Exactly. So creatine dosing 5 grams per day is good. There is evidence that if you haven't used it before, or you are probably deficient in it, to do a loading period.
I've heard that.
If your gut can tolerate it, good for you. Most people end up with severe gastric upset from that. So the loading is 20 grams per day for 7 days, up to 7 days. Some are 3 days, and it depends on what your intentions are with the creatine. And then after that, you would decrease it substantially to 5 grams per day. And most people, 5 grams per day is sufficient for the brain support, as well as the muscle support that you're going to get from that. So I would 5 grams per day is enough. If you're chronically taking too much, you can go into kidney failure. So more is not better again. And that 20 grams per day should not exceed that 7 day. It's a very short period. I've heard some pretty funny stories recently. Not funny. Funny in a twisted way. Of people being I'm going to take creatine 20 grams per day. And it's
why?
How long have you been doing that for? Oh yeah, you got rhabdo and you're in kidney failure and you're I can tell you why.
So supplement wise, creatine, what else? Any
Creatine's good. BCAAs are good. There's actually evidence on TBI specifically.
There is, So that's funny because there's so many, this is where the advertising and the misinformation, right? Is what is actually a good BCAA, what versus what's just bullshit added in there. I'm curious about that.
Pure, right? You want to get as little extra ingredients as possible. So if it tastes like chemical goodness, it's probably just chemical
Goodness.
Yeah. So getting down to like the most isolated form as possible. BCAAs is 4 essential amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein, right? And then protein is used for like your muscle and tissue development and all kinds of stuff in the body, right? And so that's what those are. Yes, there's evidence for them supporting recovery for TBI and for like sport performance as well. So it's one of those ones that I think that the evidence supports using BCAAs again in the pure form, as pure as possible. There's also preliminary evidence that's like not actually preliminary anymore. There's increasingly on NAC. I can say that it's N-acetylcysteine, I believe.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's legitimate. Yeah, so one of the best studies that I've read is they do IV NAC once a week for the protocol, and then for the rest of the days they actually take oral NAC, and that has benefits for outcomes for TBI specifically, as well as cognitive.
And that's like a daily thing, or during like post like treatment type thing.
For that study, it was. I'd have to double check how many weeks it was. So it's none of these things are like all the time. The only ones that I would recommend taking all the time, if you're going to take it, again based on the evidence, is creatine is safe. Creatine is safe, and the BCAAs, because it's not just for your brain. That's like full body, all systems support. But yeah, the NAC, there's a decent amount of research on that now. The exercise, NAC, and then balanced diet.
Nutrition. I mean, we didn't really touch on nutrition.
No,
and look at the impact that has on everything, right?
The more chemicals that you're exposing yourself to, the more your body has to work to like
the less it can work on
deal with those chemicals, right? And so healing your tissues from an injury, your healing is now going to the toxins that you're eating and not actually helping with your tissues. So that's going to delay healing, but it's also going to make sure that your healing isn't just
you can't outwork a shitty diet, man.
No.
Like, you just can't. No. So get away with it when you're 20 or less, but I mean, for guys,
but you can even, right? No, the body keeps score.
Exactly, and then it'll catch up to you.
Yeah,
it's not a matter of if, it's when, right? So that's a big one. I used to think about what I could eat back then versus what I eat now, and how I feel, because now you're a lot more aware, right, of how you're feeling, especially like, I know for myself, I'm very okay, why am I feeling this way on this day? I'm starting to be a lot more, acute about it, like start to pick it.
It's one of the gifts of injury is the self-awareness that comes with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. It's
framing it that way instead of like, well, fuck, now I got to pay attention.
Yeah.
It's like, I get to pay attention to my body. But your body's probably like, it's about time. I've been yelling at you for ever.
Okay, so a lot there, right? We talked about a lot of different topics, bantered a lot of good stuff there. So creatine, BCAA, kind of all the time. The evidence suggests that it's there. I've always heard that as well. NAC for kind of post-treatment as well, and a balanced diet, proper sleep routine and such are so important. And the food intake is just, it's just something that as I get older now, it's funny how it's more important than fucking anything, that and sleep is like, how was your workout today? It doesn't matter how did I eat today, how did I sleep last night? That's what, what's really going to make the difference, right? And that's what you're going to see results too, honestly, for those people who are just, how they want to measure their arms every day or look at the scale every day is your sleep and your food is going to tell you so much, right?
We're basically just dogs.
Dogs are amazing too, so we're pretty good.
Feed us, let us sleep, play,
absolutely.
Make sure we get some exercise.
I love my bite work. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. There's a ton to dive into. Maybe in the future I'd love to have you back on and discuss, go down kind of the personal journey that you've been working with and some of the things that I've had to deal with and continue to deal with as well. I'd like to dive into the nutrition aspect a lot, and we could talk about that. So can't thank you enough. I'm going to post kind of some of those evidence-based recommendations in the show notes, as well as I'll put Straterra's information on there, and I'll get you guys hooked up as well, because they're pretty awesome. I really think you'll like them. Good people trying to do good things, right? So
And they're Canadian.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're right in Carp, and actually they just got a new facility, and they're rapidly expanding. It's crazy. So yeah, good on them. So again, thank you guys so much today for joining us, myself and Dr. Chris Edwards. We hope to have her back in the future, and looking forward to our next session. Thanks.